Hey folks, Chris here with some more X-Wing content. We're going to be looking at the points change and how it affects rebels, where I personally think there's some value to be found. Basically, we're going to go through, look at all of the different brackets for costings of the ships, all the different chassis, where the different upgrade options lie. Hopefully, I'm going to keep it to like 10-15 minutes, but you know what I'm like, I'll waffle on a little bit. So make sure you like the content, but give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more, because I'm going to be doing one for every faction. And obviously, if you disagree or if you think I've missed something, leave us a comment. Have a back and forth in there. I try and engage with everyone who comments anyway. So there we go. And we'll get started. So, great news for us all. Yasby.app has been updated, so I get to do this a lot easier than trawling through the PDFs. Well, we've got the Rebel faction, and we're just going to start at the top. The arcs are all... Oh, sorry. Istam is 4, Nora's 6, Gavin and Shara are both 5s. 8 points of loadout, 11, 12, 16. For me, I think if you're looking for a beefy ship with the arc, Nora's probably still the best with the extra loadout value as well. I think there's likely value there for you're paying for initiative 5, still a 3 dice primary attack, got a truckload of health there, and her ability is strong. You know, I think that's okay. The other ones, 5 points. I don't know. I think you can't get protons on Gavin, so if that's where you're looking, go there. But like the arc's pretty useful for its crew options and gunner options and all that stuff, so maybe it's worth looking in that direction instead. The B-Wings, there's been a lot of talk about the B-Wings because they do have bombs now, basically channeling some of that inner squadrons love. Gina Moonsong is an extremely cheap initiative 5 at 4 points. And this is where I think Rebels start to shine here. You've got really good access to some high initiative Rebel pilots. And even though they have that lower loadout value, in previous days you probably weren't doing what do you call it? Ordnance and stuff on your B-Wings anyway. So I don't know how much you're gonna miss out on it. You can do stuff, obviously. You get the S files for free now. Then you can give them a cannon. So I don't know. There's enough loader in there to make options, and obviously taking advantage of payload. Gina does have enough to do a dreaded trajectory and leave you 4 points for one of these bombs. So yeah, I mean, abuse that while you can. I was surprised at how many trajectory simulator B-Wings I can fit in a list. So yeah. Then we've got Netram, only initiative 3 here, but with a stronger ability. But again, I'm relatively happy to just pay for initiative on Gina. But another 4-point B-Wing that has access to trajectory simulator and the bombs. So there's that. The generics, I think they're just dead in the water. You're not gonna. There's not a lot to do with this. You've got the Blade Squadron is your cannon toting one with the torpedo option as well. The Blue Squadron, you get the option for the payload, not the torpedo. So the generics are split up into a role that way. It's worth noting that even with the Blue Squadron, where you might want trajectory simulator, it uses up your full loadout value, so you can't take it. Then Hera at I6, I still think this is a trap. I still don't really like going that expensive for my my I6 when she's going to be relatively predictable. The Y-Wings, there's a lot of changes here. We've got a bunch of different slots, so let me scroll up so I can actually see it. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay. So we've got Dutch at 4 points, but he loses a bunch of options here. So he's got 2 bomb slots, a missile slot, turret, talent, no torpedo slot with 12 points of loadout. So you have to feel like this is a problem where they were just throwing protons on Dutch and using his ability or whatever. So really, really strong ability, but you're having to use it with missiles instead of torpedoes. Where would I go? I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think the value is in Dutch there. A cheaper Nora if you want that tankiness. Horton's pretty cool here as a 4. He does get a torpedo, so maybe there's some torpedo toting Y-wing action there. The Fang Fighters, this is the new stuff, obviously. Ben Rao, 6 points, but this ability works really, really well with a bunch of cards, so it's okay. I'm not massively sold, but it does have a modification slot, so you can throw afterburners on him. I think I'd probably be looking to go like advanced protons and then some of these, some of the talents. That's what they're called now. I think there's enough in there, but yeah, you're probably not taking Fen for his or just his raw potential in this one. You're going to build around this ability. So you want a bunch of stuff that activates and like you get to drop the tokens and things like that. Where else are we? Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really stands out there as like a super bargain at the moment. For Hawks, like Jan, Rock, Kyle, all 6 points. I mean, it speaks for itself. Obviously, you get to increase the loadout value as you go to the theoretically worst pilot, so whatever. Then where else are we? The Falcon has got a bunch of loadout value on there. Obviously, Chewbacca is you're never going to take an Outer Smuggler. Chewbacca's the way if you want something cheap. Han and Lando, I think I personally still think Lando's got a really strong contender because of that ability. But it's 9 points, so it's still chunky. Then the A-Wings, there's a bunch of value in here because we did get our first 2-point ship for the Rebels. The only slot you have is your config, which is your backwards pointing blasters. So yeah, that seems fine. You do get his ability, which is what was that one again? No, Derek. There we go. That's what I wanted. After you acquire or spend a lock, you may remove 1 red token from yourself. So yeah, it's okay. But I think this one I might as well jump to the other 2-point ship as well. So the other 2-pointer is actually in the Z95 Headhunter and is Lieutenant Blount. So this gets nothing, but obviously it's got a relatively strong ability, a higher initiative as well. So I think personally that if you need some 2-point ship to do some killing, Blount is the way forwards. But Derek, that objective focus game, this little 2-point ship nipping in and out, helping to flip objectives, being there to claim. There's a lot of value in that. Like real, put vectorized cannons on him, aim him backwards. You've got a lot of scope to like nip around, grab objectives. So both of these 2-pointers, I think, are really good value. Would I drop a 4-point ship to fit them in? In Rebels, I think there is scope for that. What else do we have? The 3s, I don't really mind much for the 3-point ones, but this is what I saw immediately, Sabine Wren, with the torpedo option, because she has Fearless built in. Doesn't say that it's a primary attack, you just have to be performing an attack. So you've got extra chances of like flipping up the advanced proton. I'm a big fan of this. Like 8 points for advanced protons and still got 7 points left for upgrades. So there's a lot you can do here. Wedge is pretty cool as well. You could also you can't proton wedge. It doesn't have a torpedo. It doesn't have any missile either. But still, there's a lot of load out there. You can do like probably looking at maybe afterburners, and I maybe go shield upgrade, something like that. Once we get to top end, I think this hero is pretty good value. A relatively small loadout value, but you don't need much on an A-Wing to get value, and you do get access to a sensor slot as well. Ahsoka, she's definitely a good 6-point ship because you've got all of that force in an I-5, the ability's strong, and she's not going to die. In a world of scenarios, I think she can be like your one you rely on to just sit and hold stuff and like shrug off a couple of shots. She's going to close out the game for you pretty well. So those are my 3 or 4 standouts from the A-Wings would be Hera, Ahsoka, Sabine, and then Derek as a 2-pointer. Then where am I going too fast? Sheathapede, AP5. I mean, that's the only one to look at. Fenn's fine if you've got some gimmick in that build, but AP5 is cheap. His ability is really strong when you take into account how rebels generally work. We're going to be carrying a little bit of stress. 8 points is enough to let you play with most of the things you are going to want to do. I didn't find myself sad when I was looking at building lists with AP5. Then, yeah, there's nothing else to say. I'm going to move on. T65s, okay, so generics, I wouldn't even bother. Like, you're going to run out of 4-point X-Wings before you hit, like, you're going to run out of points before you have to take a generic. The only reason I would look at this is if the initiative value is important, or you need to take multiple ships with same initiative so you can like have some cunning plan. But even then, I think there's enough scope down here that it's fine. You're not going to. Luke at 7 points is a beast with all of this loadout. You can do a lot with it. Like you've got R2D2. It's easy, isn't it? I don't even know, like heightened perception, R2D2. You're gonna get that force back anyway. Outmaneuver, don't know, Deborah's Gambit, so you can evade. I mean, seems good. Then torpedo, like you've just got everything. I've still got 5. I can give him a hull upgrade and still have a point left for a talent. Like, this is a crazy amount of loadout value. So where are we? Oh yeah, there we go. So just every slot filled with not crappy upgrades. Heightened perception to engage initiative 7, proton torpedoes, hull upgrade, hopeful, R2D2. I mean, that's a lot of loadout value in there. Wedge coming in at 6 points and cheaper is pretty decent as well. Like, I can see a bunch of value here, and you definitely can afford like protons, advanced protons, both good options here. Depending on what droid you want to do, probably dictates which torpedo you go to. But now you're definitely going to make Wedge something your opponent has to deal with, has to consider, because it's just a beast. You're going to have that punching power. It's going to be there. You're not, you know what I mean? There's a lot to these X-Wings at the top end. Vane Cairo, though, I think is a bit of a sleeper. He's only 4 points again. We've got 4-point initiative 5 ships for rebels. So you get to take 7 points of loadout, which isn't enough for any of the good torpedoes, but it does get you, a decent amount of talent and you can just make him a bit more tanky. I was looking at doing hull upgrade and then throwing just an astromech on him and being happy with that. Like you can do maybe R4 if you want him to be able to like be a little bit slippery, but you can do one of the 3-point talent, sorry. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can count. Look at that. Yeah. Like even crack shot at 3 is pretty okay. Or you can do again. You can make a hopeful list and just throw R2 on R4 on him. Sorry. So I think there's enough value here. The loadout value is small, but the innate ability of just getting a cheap initiative 5 X-wing that's like 5 hull, 2 shields, it's going to struggle to chew through. So I think this is good value. Then the TIE Fighter. I don't really care. You're not taking this because it's good. Like, you're not basing your entire list around this, but Ezra is probably the way to go here. Like, he's got a force. I personally throw a brilliant evasion on him, and then it doesn't really matter. He has a crew swap, so you can do some fun stuff. You can sorry, can he fit Leia? I think he could fit Leia. I've forgotten now. All of my talking points out the window. Yeah. So you can do Leia if you don't do that, and you just basically fly around with a force point and focus evade. Off one force and evade seems pretty easy. So it's a really strong contender for the best Leia carrier if you're looking to keep it cheap. And then U-Wings. I like a bunch of these. I wish Saw had snuck in at a 5, to be honest. But whatever, it's a really good ability, so I get it, but it just, I don't know. All of them being 5 points and Saw pushing you up, where would I go? Like, Magva is a pretty good one with a nice ability, and a good loadout value. But I think any of them, barring the generics, have got enough loadout value to kind of get you where you need to be. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any hidden gem in there anyway. VCX 100, Hera obviously banned because of a dial changing, which leaves Kane and Chopper. Like, this is one of a few cases I can see for maybe the generic, because it is a point cheaper. And if all you want is that that punching power at 4 dice attack and a big help, like you want a large base ship for helping with objectives, and you've got a good amount of punching power, like why not? I think you can do that relatively easily. 8 loadout value, I mean, whatever. You're not going to get much. I mean, I could see Agile Gunner and an Ion turret maybe. That seems like it would be interesting enough. But this is one of a few use cases where I actually like the generic here. Just especially if you're trying to like pinch points from wherever you can. I think this is a chunky way of getting a large base ship into your list without sacrificing too much. Then Z95 Headhunter, again, immediately 2 points for buoyant. I don't care about loadout value. I can get ships into range 1 of my opponents. Keep him wide. Just protect him a little bit. Don't waste him. And he'll earn more than his 2 points back in his offensive output. The Dow's a bit bad, not gonna lie. It's restrictive on what you can do. But if you're using your other pieces to be your objective focused ships, then I think there's a lot of value in that. For the others, I don't know. I don't know why you'd look at anything other than buoyant. But if you wanted Kraken, then his action passing is only 3 points. You get a sensor swap. It's not terrible. I mean, yeah, maybe the sensor slot is selling it. Then, oh man, you could do passive sensors, ion torpedo, and he's an initiative 5. That's not bad, I suppose. It's going to get his shot off, you know. So yeah, there's that. Then what else? Did I miss anything? What I've been looking at? Not that I can think of. So let's have a look at the list that I've made. Are we? Oh, we're at 20 minutes. Jesus, too far. Okay. So this is already gone over, so I'm not going to look at the list and stuff that I've already done. But yeah, that's where I think the value is for the Rebels. You want to be looking at Blind if you need, like, an offense and need a filler. Derek if you need some, like, maneuverability to get both objectives. A couple of the A-Wings would seem really good. A lot of Initiative 5 that you can get for cheap. And yeah, let's see what you guys have come up with. Please leave a comment on what you're thinking. And I'll see you all on the next one.